Horror Madness with Deb and Dana. Tonight we are talking about the movie American Psycho.
It was released in 2000 and directed by Mary Herron, starring Christian Bale, Patrick Bateman as Patrick Bateman. I fucked that up. Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman, Chloe Savini as Jean, Reese Witherspoon as Evelyn, Samantha Mathis as Courtney, Jared Leto as Paul Allen, and the marvelous Willem Dafoe as Detective Kimball.
I think your little mess up there is one of the first things I wanted to talk about. So, and it's been going around as a meme very recently a bunch again. Like, it's a 15-year-old thing that doesn't need to go around again, but it's been going around again a lot recently. Have you ever seen a person in a movie that did a role so good you can't see them in any other movie? For me, it's Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman, or whoever he is.
Or whoever.
So, I don't hate the Dark Knight series of Batman movies. They're, fine, but, my biggest thing about it is I never, ever for a second saw Batman not as Patrick Bateman. It was like a Patrick Bateman psychological snap.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what this whole movie is. It was just like American Psycho trilogy, the sequel of Patrick Bateman being like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm fucking Batman now. And pretending that he's Batman for 3 entire fucking movies, and I cannot picture Christian Bale as anything but the guy from American Psycho.
Yeah, Patrick Bateman as Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, that's the role that's so good. I can't see him as anything else, and I'm sorry that I guess most people never saw American Psycho. I feel like if you did, no matter how much you love the Dark Knight trilogy, you're still just that dude just kill a prostitute and then pretend like he's Batman.
It's wild. Christian Bale does so good in this movie.
So
that is how you act a role.
So, I mean, that's the thing. It's Christian Bale in every movie he's ever been in.
Yeah.
He was in this movie, which, I guess his previous movie to this, he was, 13 years old in.
Yeah.
And, doesn't count. Sorry, just straight up doesn't count. He was 13. He was a child actor. Doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
This is really his first, real movie that mattered at all.
Yeah.
And it is one of the best acting jobs ever and should have won awards.
It is.
And then, I don't know what he did between this and what's the name of it?
Batman?
No, The Machinist. Is it
yeah,
The Machinist?
I think there was a few small... Yes, The Machinist. There's a few small roles in there, but not a lot.
And then, he won a bunch of awards for The Machinist and stuff, and they were like, bro, have you ever wanted to be Batman? And he was like, have you seen American Psycho? Of course I want to be Batman. It wouldn't even make sense if I didn't also think I was Batman.
And I never really put that together. Bruce Wayne, millionaire financial dude.
Let's not forget. We've got Bruce Wayne. We've got the Joker. We've got the Green Goblin. There are so many Batman characters in American Psycho way before Batman.
Way before they were in any Batman movies.
There's kind of a ridiculous amount of Batman characters in this movie.
Also, this movie is full of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Chloe Savini.
Reese had all of her spoons in this movie. All of present and accountable.
This movie has heavy hitters. We are about to see Samantha Mathis at Carolina Fear Fest.
Hold on, wait. I forgot that's why we watched this.
That is why we watched this. And it's literally one of my favorite movies.
Which one is she?
The one he's having an affair with. The one that's on Xanax all the time.
The one that looks
lithium.
exactly like...
Reese Witherspoon?
Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, yes.
And there were several scenes where I just stared at it and I was like, that's Reese Witherspoon?
No.
But then also, my whole confusion about
He's
this movie...
both of them.
...that I need to get to I think there was one scene where she was Reese Witherspoon, but like I can't prove that.
Okay, so Reese Witherspoon is his fiance, Evelyn. He's having an affair with Courtney, which is Samantha Mathis. But there's more scenes with Samantha Mathis, and I feel like there was more of an attachment to Samantha Mathis.
There was a scene in the bed where I just sat there the whole time going, that's Reese Witherspoon, but clearly not the character. Yeah. And I'm not sure whether or not it was her. I probably should have remembered that earlier and like tried to find that out.
I don't think there's a sex scene with Reese Witherspoon.
No, it wasn't a sex scene. They're just like laying in the bed and she's like on drugs and he's in there.
Oh, that's Samantha Mathis.
It's supposed to be, but there's like a few minutes of it where like I'm not sure. But like also like cool. Also, that's what this whole movie's about. That's what this whole movie is. What the fuck is happening? What the fuck is going on? So, I want to say my whole thing that, like, I'm not necessarily proud of. So, I've always claimed American Psycho as a favorite movie of mine. But I hadn't watched it since high school. I hadn't seen it a single time since, like, it was new. Watching it now, I feel so much differently about this movie than I did when I was a child. I have a Mandela effect going on with this whole entire movie. There's just, it's so different now than it was when I was a child. When I was a child, when I was in high school, I thought this movie was about a brutal murderer. It's not. Maybe it is, but, like, probably not.
The movie's ambiguous to it.
Yeah, which is like wild. Like you don't even realize it's ambiguous to it until most of the way. Like like third act 3, I guess you start being like, oh wait, hold on, wait a minute.
I would say I watched this movie a lot when it first came out, and it was one of my favorites. Love American Psycho. I watched it about 10 years ago when I bought the Blu-ray and that's when I realized it was different. And I was like, holy fuck. Watching this as an adult and watching it as a high schooler is wildly different.
It's kind of insanely different. Yeah. So my Mandela effect, I distinctly remembered, I know, this is wrong, this is wild. I distinctly remembered him listening to classical music and then murdering everyone while listening to classical music.
Yes.
But it's super popular music that apparently most of the budget of the movie went to, rockish pop music from the 80s.
Yes, most of this movie's budget went to getting rights to play the songs they played, and it is full of songs.
And I would have sworn to God he murdered everyone listening to classical music, and that was a part of the movie that he was listening to classical music. He wasn't.
No.
Straight up wasn't. He wasn't at all. Yeah.
So this movie opens to a delicious looking dinner.
Oh my God.
Michelin stars. Michelin motherfucking stars.
Yeah, like beautiful food.
Beautiful
so far
fucking food.
I think one of my most disappointing things, we watched some YouTube videos before we started, and this guy with some really stupid hair that could have done anything else with his hair on the entire planet Earth had this like overly pretentious video because he's smarter than everyone else that's ever lived and clearly overthinking it far beyond the novel writer or the director or the screenwriter of this movie. And he said that the food was ridiculous combinations of nonsense. I just finished culinary school. No, sir. All the food is Michelin star amazing food that all works and is all perfect and is crazy good. You're an idiot.
Give me some peanut butter fucking soup with duck. Please. Yes. Put it in my mouth right the fuck now.
Yeah, that dude
like,
with the stupid hair. Yeah, fuck him.
The finance bros eating and talking, I kind of wanted to claw my face off. Because it's boring conversation. It is. And it's supposed to be. It is.
80s yuppies doing 80s yuppie.
Yeah.
Vapid nonsense.
Yeah.
So, great food.
Great food. Oh, yes.
Batman.
The food looked beautiful.
They go to that party. The door lady is dressed like a pirate.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, is this a costume party? Like, some people seem to, but it's not a costume party. And there's just like a door lady dressed like a pirate for no reason. There should be more door ladies dressed like pirates.
Which is what, so we watched the special features, and they were talking about clubs in the 80s. And dude was like, I would wear a tutu and windbreaker pants. Like, that was clubs in the 80s. It was a wild scene. It was... Nobody gave a fuck. It was wonderful.
So there's also this whole special feature that's just like New York in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have shit to do with the movie. Like, nothing to do with the movie at all. And, like, we very, like, disjointedly watched it.
I don't know. I feel like
why is this here? But the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, no, like, I get why that special feature is there, but, like, it still had nothing to do with the... Nobody even from the movie was in it.
No, nobody from the movie was in it, but it's talking about... the club scene, which a lot of this movie takes place in clubs in New York in the 1980s. Also, there's some, I'm pretty sure it was Tears for Fears playing. It was Tears for Fears. I'm playing Tears for Fears at the club. And you get your first taste of Patrick Bateman being unhinged. He gets mad at the bartender and says some off-the-wall psycho shit. You think. Because his mouth is moving, and the words are coming out of it. And she doesn't hear it.
So my point there, and in most situations, which, like, goes either way with what the director, who I always say this, and I will never back down from it. Sometimes you create a piece of art and didn't mean to make what you made. I don't think they didn't hear him. I think it was a loud environment and she didn't understand. So the dry cleaner...
I think he didn't say it out loud.
The dry cleaner does hear him and does respond directly to him threatening to murder her. She definitely responds to it.
Does she respond to how upset he is? Because they don't even speak English.
No, he's upset the whole time. He says, bitch, I'm going to murder you, or whatever he says. That isn't an exact quote. And she directly responds to him saying that.
I think...
Whereas in the club, the bartender turns around and you're in a loud-ass fucking club, and in reality, in that situation, that bartender would not have heard him.
Also, he said stuff like that in conversation with his friend sitting as far as me to you.
I say shit like that in conversations with my friends, and everybody ignores it.
I think, and that is where this movie messes with the viewer. That is where the movie shows there is no line between reality and what's in his head. And this movie plays with that throughout the whole thing. So on a first watch, you're like, what the fuck? She didn't fucking react to him saying, I'm gonna fucking eat your face. I don't think that's a direct quote, but it's pretty fucking close.
So, like, you know...
I don't think he's saying it. It's in his head, just like so much of this movie is in Patrick Bateman's head.
In defense of the director saying you're wrong about so much and the whole thing wasn't a dream, I think he is saying all those things. I don't think he's necessarily murdering all those people, but I think he is saying all of those things. And it's the not paying attention culture, the not giving a fuck culture,
and it could be
that everyone just lets it go over their fucking heads. And,
but
like,
also
the bartender chick isn't happy with. And then, like, he says that, and then she doesn't get happier.
You say that shit to a bartender, she's going to throw your ass the fuck out.
I disagree. In the 80s yuppie culture, because you know it's somebody super crazy rich that's going to tip you a big-ass tip, no.
I don't know. I think this movie, and it does, and this can't be argued, the movie plays with the line between reality and what's in Patrick Bateman's head.
Yeah, but, like, that line isn't set.
Because there is no line. That's what I just said. The line isn't set because there's no line between reality. There's no music change. There's nothing that says it's in his head and his mouth is moving, but nobody's hearing him. And again, it could be the culture because they're mixing each other's names up constantly. Or is he just all of those people? I don't know. The movie fucks with the viewer. And that's why I love it. The psychological thriller of it.
I think that's one of my biggest takeaways from watching all the extra stuff and like watching other people's opinions and stuff. I think my biggest opinion about everything, I don't think that the main character is Patrick Bateman.
I don't either.
At all. I don't know who the main character is. I don't know if it's Marcus. I don't know if it's Paul. I don't know who the main character, Davis,
who's not in the movie at all.
Who's not even in the movie. I don't know who the main character of American Psycho is, but I don't think it's Patrick Bateman at all. I don't think that Patrick Bateman he has to exist, but I don't think that the person that we're watching throughout this movie is Patrick Bateman. I think he's either Marcus or Paul.
Or Davis. I don't think he knows.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think that's a big point of the point of the movie is that, like, I don't think he knows who he is. And the business card scene, like, one of the most famous scenes in the history of film, in my opinion. It's not true. Everything I say is wrong. Never forget that.
Also, all of their cards with all the different names all say Vice President of PMP.
Yeah, it's a fantasy thing that's happening. Also, in that scene, apart from the redheaded guy, everyone in that room looks identical. They don't actually literally look identical, but like if you had to describe anyone in that room, the description would come out as the exact same person, which includes Paul and Marcus and Patrick and maybe Davis. There's a couple people in there that are never named. It seems to me it's most likely that he's Marcus.
Yeah, well, that's what Paul is calling him.
Right, which is why he gets killed, but, like, also definitely doesn't, or he does? Like, I don't know.
This movie is a wild ride. This could count for horror and madness.
Yeah, also...
horror madness. So, after the club scene, it cuts to his apartment, and he starts introducing himself and describing his routine. Little known fact... Ding. Christian Bale actually followed Bateman's routine while he was filming this movie. His facial routine, his workout routine. Christian Bale followed it. He method actor to the extreme.
Which he's known for.
Yeah.
Very much known for. If you had seen how many crimes he stopped in New York.
One thing the co-writer has said. Not everything is imagined. If it seems unreal, it probably was.
But not everything is, and...
If it seems over the top unreal.
But, like, everything is over the top unreal. So, like, that's that line that just isn't drawn in this movie. Like, there's nothing that isn't over the top unreal.
Something else over the top unreal. There is a lot of tension-building music in this movie. And then nothing fucking happens. Yeah. He's walking in dark alleys with people, and there is creepy children singing, there is tension-building music, and nothing happens. Every kill he makes is to the happiest pop fucking music, and it throws your mind because you're expecting the bad shit to happen with the tension building, and it doesn't. And you're playing Huey Lewis, and he's hitting you with the blunt side of an axe. He didn't even use the sharp side.
Was that clear? That axe was so clean. That axe was mirror finished perfect and had, like, you buy a new axe, like, it doesn't look like that. Like, it doesn't. You would have to spend hours shining that fucking axe.
Bateman.
Or that axe didn't even exist. Patrick Bateman doesn't even exist.
Or it's Patrick Bateman, and he cleaned the fuck out of that axe because it had to be mirror perfect because he has crazy OCD.
Well, I think if anyone in this movie didn't die, apart from the last, like, few minutes, it's Paul.
Well, yeah, no, he did not.
Or he definitely did. Like, there's just so much going on in this movie that on first watch and not paying attention, there's nothing going on in this movie. And the more you pay attention, the more you're just like, oh no, like everything has meaning. Everything means a lot. And like, There's not an answer.
Everything down to the movies playing in the background on Bateman's TV.
Porn and
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He is just watching porn, making dinner reservations. Just like, it's nothing. Also, do people really eat dinner at 8:30?
Well, that's been a thing that we've always talked about amongst ourselves.
Wild to me.
I've never met a person that wants to go to dinner at 8 or 9 ever in my... Most restaurants close at 9.
I guess.
And in every movie, everyone's like, can we get dinner reservations for 9? I'd be like, no, motherfucker, we close at 9. You can't get dinner reservations at 9? But, like, I've never lived in downtown New York or L.A. I don't know. That's still insane, like, to eat dinner that late. That's crazy, stupid late to eat dinner.
So much of this movie is based around getting reservations at Dorsia. Like, Dorsia.
I don't even know if that's French or Italian.
Yeah, and so much of it, and the whole point is you can't get a reservation at Dorsia. They never eat at Dorsia, ever. He tricks people into thinking they're at Dorsia.
Oh wait, no, don't they eat there once?
No, he tries to get reservations, and they laugh, and then
not Reese Witherspoon, she's like not even awake, and
she's like, this is Dorsia, and he's like, yeah, you're gonna get the peanut butter soup with duck, and I want the peanut butter soup with duck.
Goddamn right.
So after that non-Dorsia dinner, he's walking home. He starts harassing this poor homeless guy, and he is such a dick to him. But also, I don't know if he is being a dick, because the dude's like, you're so kind, and he's saying all this heinous shit, and the dude is like, oh, thank you, man, thank you, you're so kind, and he just fucking stabs him.
So I think...
And again, it's another one of those lines.
Oh, no, there's the dog situation. So my initial thought was that this was a real thing, and I hate to talk about this. It is
brutal and awful.
It is a brutal animal thing.
I hated it.
But I very clearly and openly noticed, again, before I realized, this is a fresh watch before I relearned all this stuff. I thought this movie was not the movie that it is. But what I thought, I was like, so he kills the homeless guy, and the homeless guy has a dog, and they show the dog whimpers, they show his foot, and then it pans out, and he's clearly kicking nothing. Like, there's very clearly nothing there, and my initial thought, while watching it without realizing how deep this movie was, I thought it was just, a slasher film. Was that, it was just like, well, duh, you can't, do that. So they just, pulled out far enough for you to not be able to quite see what he was doing, and you're supposed to just ignore the fact that he was not kicking anything. But after getting into the deepness of this movie, it pulls out, and he's not kicking anything. Dude is just sitting there, and he's not kicking. He's just, kicking at the air. Which kind of points at this whole situation didn't really happen at all.
Yeah, I tried to do a kill count in this movie.
Yeah, I don't... It could be 0, it could be 20 or 40.
According to Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, it could be 0, it could be 20, it could be 40. I have no fucking clue if anyone dies or if everyone died. So there's another... he's dragging a body out of his hotel.
Yeah.
And it very clearly, in the video we were watching, they're like, if you watch very closely, you can see that. No, it's very clear and not a quick scene at all. He's very clearly dragging blood across the floor. And then he gets outside and it shows the inside and the blood trail is not there. So I was like, well, I mean, even some of the best movies have continuity fuck ups like that.
But then... His friend comes by and is like, I really like your overnight bag. Where did you get it? And didn't even acknowledge the fact that he was putting a dead body in the car.
that's very clearly and obviously a dead body, and he's just like, where'd you get that overnight bag? That thing's beautiful.
This movie fucks with the viewers on a level I don't think many movies have.
But that also, again, goes against what the writer said, the director said. Because, like, up to this point,
it was meant to be ambiguous. It wasn't meant to be, oh, it's all fake. It's ambiguous as to what is fake and what is real.
Every kill has so much stuff just, like, proving that it's not real that you have to stretch to prove that it is real. Because, like, almost everything that happens, like, you have to stretch to believe that he killed anyone. Like, he's kicking an imaginary dog. There's no blood trail after he's drug a bloody body, and his friend is just like, hey, nice overnight bag, not, hey, you're putting a dead body in a trunk.
Babe, you know what I think is definitely fake? Ordering a J&B.
It's not. I was telling you that when we got that shit. I was telling you that shit is so popular worldwide. It's crazy. That shit
in
is
my mind,
terrible.
Ordering a J&B in Corona.
Oh my god.
A J&B straight.
J&B straight in a Corona. I like Corona. Corona's fine.
I love
whatever.
Corona.
Corona's good.
I do like
I'll drink a
Corona
Corona any day. I will never in my entire life drink a J&B straight. And I'm rich.
I think that's when Patrick Bateman really lost his mind.
Yeah, when he ordered a J&B straight.
When he ordered a J&B straight, that has to be.
And chase it with a lager.
He goes out to dinner with Paul Allen. Or does he? Or does he just go sit at dinner by himself? I don't know, because they look like clones. They all look like clones.
No. Paul Allen goes to dinner with Marcus.
Paul Allen goes to dinner with Marcus. Or is it Davis?
Or Davis, because fucking...
But Paul Allen thinks he's going to dinner with Marcus.
So I feel like, Willem, which I will never get over how stupid of a name Willem is. No one's ever been named that except for Willem.
And also,
I love Willem. I love Willem so much. He should have a
name all of his own.
Yeah, and he should. He deserves
a
to
name
just for no reason at all not be William. but be Willem. He deserves that. He looks like a fucking man with a weird name no one's ever had before, and I love him so much. So I feel like that's the point, because he barely matters in the actual like grand scheme of the whole movie. Like, he doesn't matter. I feel like he's the ground. He's the reality of the situation, and I think the things that the detective says are the things that are really happening, which isn't much. He doesn't say much, but it's the whole, Paul's not dead. You were at a dinner with all of your friends who look identical, right? And like it's Patrick with air quotes being like, being defensive in a way, and like sucking at being interviewed by a cop. Like, he makes himself look so guilty. It's insane at like wild. Every turn.
He's like, "What did you find out?"
Yeah,
I was at dinner. What?
And then the detective just being like, "Well, I mean, like, I don't actually have any reason to suspect anything. I know where you were, but like, I'm detecting shit." It is. Also, to be fair, neither one of us have read the novel.
No.
I've read about the novel. I know a lot about the novel. I know about the differences, but like, I have not read the novel. I really should. I really need to. I really want to.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, it is a fairly accurate transition between novel to movie overall. But also, like, it can't really be that accurate because it's a novel to a movie, and the novel is much more violent and stuff. But also, like, if it doesn't happen, does it even count as violence? I can sit here and imagine murdering everyone watching our live in the face.
vagina.
But, like, it didn't happen, so, like, I can't get in trouble for that. Like, nothing bad can happen because of that.
Because it's not Minority Report.
You towed a line there. I don't really remember Minority Report. I saw it, I think.
Tom Cruise starred in it.
I know about it, but like...
Speaking of Tom Cruise...
The first word in that movie title, I was like, whoa. Calm down, Deb. Deb, calm down. Don't say that.
Christian Bale based Patrick Bateman on Tom Cruise.
It's like, isn't that shocking?
No, it's very clear and very evident. So, he goes to dinner with Paul Allen, or does he?
Yeah.
Nobody knows. And he brings him back to his apartment. And dude is so fucked up that for like 30 minutes, he doesn't realize he's sitting in newspapers.
Yeah.
Like, it takes him so long to realize that everything is covered in paper. Everything is covered in newspapers.
Yeah, the couches all have like tarps on them, and there's newspapers on the floor.
Patrick Bateman's putting on his little coat, his cellophane. His raincoat,
yeah,
and dude was like,
shitty, like 99-cent raincoat.
It's a poncho from Niagara Falls.
Yeah, like a tourist would get. Yeah, it's just like a shitty little.
It's
clear
probably
raincoat.
like a Valentino, though.
No, I don't think that was. I don't.
He loves his
think
Valentino.
I think it was a shitty 99-cent raincoat.
Patrick Bateman wouldn't buy a shitty 99.
I mean, it was the 80s. It would have been a 25-cent raincoat. But I think in this situation, if he's thinking at all, which he doesn't need to because he doesn't get in trouble for anything, would be, I'm Patrick Bateman. I'm going to commit murder in a 25-cent raincoat because when they find the raincoat covered in blood, no one's going to believe that I would have put on a 25-cent fucking raincoat to murder someone.
Also, through so much of this movie, on the first time you watch it, you think he's trying to build himself an alibi. So after he kills Paul Allen, or does he?
Or himself?
He starts calling himself Paul Allen and is going out as Paul Allen. And I'm like, oh, cool. He's trying to build an alibi and make it look like Paul Allen is still alive because they're goddamn twins. No, he's just completely insane.
Oh, so that's a thing. Which, again, I wrote this note, even like most of the way through the movie. And I was just like, New York seems so small in this movie. Like, he just keeps running into people constantly in downtown New York. I was like, that doesn't seem possible that you, like, every time you go anywhere, you run into somebody you see. But hey, guess what? He probably doesn't.
So he is entertaining the call girls. Or is he just entertaining himself? Because he is not looking at them at all. They're hardly in the scene for a sex scene.
This is the part where we were watching a thing that it was pointed out that they think this is where the break happens, when he's like flexing in the mirror, watching himself. He's like apparently beating two ladies half to death in a threesome, but like you only really see him just flexing and looking at himself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Or this whole thing doesn't really happen. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. You never know. The things that set Bateman off are insane.
It's mostly just business cards. He was killed, whether, reality or not. He was killed because of his business card. 2 people in this movie were killed because of their business cards.
No, he only almost killed one.
Oh, yeah. They have the gay moment.
Yes, there's a very awkward moment where he tries to strangle a dude. And the dude thinks he's trying to fuck. And he washes his hands with gloves. And it says a lot, and I don't want to get into it. It's the 80s, and
it's an impactful scene.
It is.
So I think the part that I'm not sure what the meaning of that scene was.
Yeah.
I think it's just fragile masculinity, and he's the 80s alpha male. Yeah, it's like stupid deep.
So then he's in his office and he's like twirling a dead girl's hair, and I'm not really sure whose hair it is. He has a thing for blondes, though, for sure.
I can't relate. I can't relate at all.
He brings his secretary home with him, and it's the first time you really see a dead body. Like, he opens his freezer and there's a head in there.
But also, it is comical.
It is.
It's very comical of opening the freezer and being like, hey, you want some sorbet?
So he brings that secretary back, and he's quoting Bundy, and then he holds a nail gun to the back of her head. And he's interrupted by a phone call from his girlfriend, and this is the only moment in the movie where he seems to have a conscience. Because they sit down to talk after his girlfriend leaves a message, and he's like, if you stay, I'm going to hurt you. And she just leaves. And she's like, yeah, I don't want to get bruised. Like, honey, you're not going to get bruised. Like, that's not what he means.
Yeah, so, it's one of those impossible things where, like, you can't, with what the movie shows, understand what really is happening at any point in time.
No, especially in the next
You can just guess. You can just assume. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that, like, he wasn't really flexing in the mirror.
No, he was beating the crap out of them.
Beating the shit out of them.
Because they leave.
It's not shown. Yeah,
they
like
leave bloody and bruised, and it just looks like they're having sex. Like,
yeah, like it doesn't, like, while the whole scene is going down, it's just like him flexing in the mirror, and they're all just having, a jolly old threesome.
Yeah.
But, like, that's not what happened.
No.